Good morning, everyone. We are students of UBCO, that is indeed, and we do face countless problems throughout the year, no matter what studying or family issues. We have many problems. Moving out, finding a space to live is definitely a huge part of our consideration over the past few years. And of course, that comes along with where are we going to keep our stuff over the summer. We definitely don't want to keep it in our friend's house who might greedily charge us with overpricing prices, or we don't want to have it to sell. We don't want to leave it unattended or sell it to others or dispose it because it might be valuable for us. And from a student's point of perspective, we are a Region consulting team. Alongside my teammates, Ahmed, Gabriel, and you, we're proud to present our idea that will hopefully to get your company moving forward.
So after analyzing the current conditions of the market and your company, we've analyzed that the main challenge your company is facing is a lack of demand created due to the downturn in the real estate market. Secondary issues currently are a lack of awareness of the mobile portable solutions, of which Big Steel Box is a big provider. You're having issues differentiating your company in terms of what you offer great service and you offer great timing and flexibility, but you're also looking for what can you do further to separate yourselves, to be the top. And one issue that might help solve that problem of differentiation is targeting students, which is currently a growing market as more students come to UBCO. So your current strategy is providing superior portable moving and storage solutions to residents across Canada by offering customer-focused values and operations. And your strategy for students will focus more on flexibility because students prefer to have DIY solutions where they have the independence and they're looking for an affordable price over the summer. Now your resources are that you have a very customer-driven culture. You really care about how your customers experience Big Steel Box offerings. You've recently implemented a new enterprise resource planning system, which will help you facilitate operations throughout by making data management easier and allowing communication of data between the different departments. You offer high-quality storage containers which are heavier, they're more secure, and they're more robust than what your competitors offer. And you have the benefit of having many stores across Canada, which will allow you to reach more customers. Now, your capabilities are because of how good your operations currently are. You have the capability to introduce change without it causing any issues to your current operations. You have the opportunity to attract customers outside your target market because the mobile portable solution industry as a whole is growing, because people want the ability to have the storage containers right outside where they are and not have to travel to the storage facilities of their service that they're using. You have modification options because, again, you have the capabilities and resources to modify your current services to meet the demand for students who are looking for a more affordable cost and more flexibility. And because of you successfully operating throughout the years and building trust of customers, they believe in your company, and even if you introduce a new product, they'll be interested in what you have to offer, and they believe that you have secure operations. The current constraints are you have a lack of experience with low income households because currently your focus is on single family households who make a yearly income of $100,000 to $200,000 average. So looking externally, we see that there are socio-cultural factors where students need flexibility, they're independent, they value independence, and they value the ability to pack at their own pace and store where they want to. The current economic factors are such that there's a slowdown in the real estate market, which again is affecting the demand for your solutions, but we can work around that. The influx of students is a great opportunity because every year there are more and more students coming to UBCO, especially international students, who usually end up leaving on vacation over the summer, and that means that there will be additional demand for your services. And for technological, with your new enterprise resource planning system, You'll be able to have a more secure view of how your operations are going and keep track of the boxes and what's inside them and who they belong to. And as as society advances, we become more technological, and that provides opportunity for allowing flexibility in booking through online tools, and also so customers can manage when the next payment is due. So looking at your competitors, just to compare your the unique selling points that your customers offer and how you compare. Secure Right, they focus on business to business, which also is what Big Steel Box offers. So fortunately, you match their unique selling points. U-Haul offers low-cost operations, but looking at surveys and information, customers, while they do appreciate the lower cost, unfortunately it comes at the cost of service. So they are not in our focus. Space Center is the closest, I believe, through our analysis, the closest competitor to what Big Steel Box offers, as they offer flexible solutions at an affordable cost. So you want to match yourselves with what they do, for sure. And Totem Storage, they focus on differentiated services, focusing on commercial operations and delivering flexibility to their commercial clients, which is also what Big Steel Box offers through their more mobile portable storage solutions. Now, here's the customer that you're trying to target. Students, what they're looking to do is have accessible summer storage, which they can use at any time and it's flexible. They are looking for convenience, so something that's close by, and they're looking for it at an affordable cost because students have a lack of monetary funds. Now, what they're looking to avoid is the hassle that comes with storing, which includes packing and having to transport their things that they're going to pack to the storage facilities, and the lack of storage options. So that's where Big Steel Box can come in and fill that gap in the market. And finally, looking at the potential market, looking at UBCO students, there are currently 5,000 residents across UBC Okanagan dorms, Mission Group accommodations U1, U2, U3, the Veda buildings, and we analyzed that there are 5,000 residents, of which 70% usually leave over the summer, whether it's for internships or vacation, and 10% of that 70%, which are 350 students, will be looking for storage over the summer, which Big Steel Box can offer services to.
Now, before introducing you to our ideas, our recommendations, we want to clarify on our decision criteria of how we decided which one that we recommend. So, those are the 4 important, crucial aspects that we think that you need to consider. Sustainable growth, capturing the new markets, your ability to grow in the future. Are you able to expand and is not limited by only the short-term gains? Are you Big Steel Box's core competencies and differentiation? Are you able to fully utilize, well, not fully, but partly utilize most of your resources and capabilities, as mentioned previously? The sense of security that you're providing for the students, for your customers, and also the actual security that you're going to have in terms of preventing thefts or any damaged goods that can be found for whatever reason. And last but not least, do good. Are you able to provide the community the needs and wants that they want to have within a reasonable amount of price of service? Yeah. So the alternative one, or we also call it the tagging method. So think of this as similar to the airport check-in process. Big Steel Box is going to come on campus, the UBCO campus, find a location where they can set up and have students come in, register, and pay for their rental over the summer. And how this process is exactly going to work is students, the Big Steel Box, you are going to provide the students with individual tags with barcodes or just numeric numbers that you can identify, and then stick it on the students' luggages or boxes, and then have your own personnel take those luggages, belongings, and then to your storage boxes, which will be most likely on campus at that time. We recommend Big Steel Box to stay on campus for a reasonable amount of time. We'll say the margin of 7 days a week is the one that we have considered. So Yeah, and how we're going to measure the pricing of for the rentals is, well, first, of course, the time is 4 months, but we're going to measure it depending on the weight and volume of their belongings, just like how you normally do it for your normal customers. However, we decided based on the district criteria we've mentioned above, we decided to reject this. For the 3 main reasons, because staff must stay on campus. This does take a huge amount of expense out of your budget. You'd have to pay the staff not 24/7, but most of the time to be welcoming students and checking out the process. It's hard for students to estimate the cost price, so that is one big thing that the students is considering while deciding which service to use. And of course, it takes time for checking in and out. We might get to rush hour students because we're only expecting one customer service desk from you. So if there were a lineup, students might get unsatisfied and just choose to use your competitors or an alternative straight away.
So we also considered another alternative to tailor to student needs, which we also believe is the strongest option for you to take. So as you can see on the image, we considered to create the 6 compartments within your existing box by separating into the 6 individual compartments. So each of the box will be just enough size for one student who probably might be renting like 1 room. So we consider this as enough space for 1 person. And as you can see, this is the chart when you're looking from the app to your box. We can have a 6 individual compartment within the box that you're currently providing. So we also think if you choose to take this method, you can charge $149 for the entire summer instead of monthly payment because as Hunter mentioned, not knowing how much it will end up costing for the student is a significant stress. And if the students know that how much exactly it will cost, it makes students easy to make a decision and go with you. And we think that modifying the 40 boxes into compartments will be enough to meet the demands that we presented. So we actually thought another method to implement exact same concept, 6 compartment, but with a different method to meet, which is to modify, to remanufacture the entire box that you're currently offering. So this image on the left is from when you're looking at the box from the side. You can manufacture 3 doors that give access to the individual compartment, and then you can have looking from the top, you can have 3 doors on one side and 3 doors on the other side. So this was another option that we considered. However, so it will look like this. And however, we don't think this is as attractive as the second option that we mentioned because first of all, it will be really expensive as an initial cost to remanufacture entire the box to create the door. And it will be the limited for 2 years because you already separated to 6 individuals use. And with your capability, we believe that the second option, which is more cost effective, and we believe that you can still meet the students' needs by just modifying your existing box instead of remanufacturing the entire thing. So to summarize, alternative 1 tagging system, we think that it's not the most convenient for the student as it takes the logistic issues. And the second option, of course, it will be the expensive option for you. So that means that the cost, the burden will go to the student, which will limit the student accessibility. And we think that modification recommendation is the best to meet growth and to help students who is struggling from moving issues. So to go through our recommendation, first, a student can sign up through housing office or their residence administration, and the student will pack their own stuff and by themselves into the boxes or containers, and the student can get a passcode from Big Steel Box to get access to individual compartment. and the student can the big steel box, you can start a collection by dropping your boxes into the convenient location. We're considering you could drop the box one at the common area and another one close to the academy hill, but you could relocate accordingly based on the registration. And students will load their stuff. They can take 1 to 2 weeks, and Big Steel Box will bring all the stuff and the store into the Big Steel Box warehouse storage throughout the summer. So after the summer, student can choose either to pick up at the on-site your location, or student could pay extra to take your delivery service. So as I mentioned, we recommend you to charge $149 for the entire summer instead of monthly payment, and you'll be able to make $894 per box with 6 students. So for the marketing, we consider that including your option as a part of the housing or moving logistics will be the most effective way, so students can easily sign up and it's the part of the logistics.
So let's discuss how we can make this happen. So the first step, Director of Operations, you'll be in charge of contacting UBCO Housing Office, Beta Living and Mission Group, and it will take place maybe within the first month, so starting from November to December, and it will maybe cost about $1,000 just to have the contract set up. And the next step will be to market to students through collaboration with student housing, and this will be done by the marketing team, and it will take place between December until April, because this is the period when you want to get as many students as possible to use your service. After which you will be considering modifying your storage containers, and it will cost about $10,000, so it's about $250 per box, so that would be from December to April. And the next step would be to collect applications for the services and distribution of the passcodes, and it will be done between maybe mid-February to end of April. And lastly is to collect the belongings and transport to the warehouse, which is the service you're providing, and it will take place in April. And as well as returning the belongings, it will take place in September. So we'll talk about some of the risks and mitigations here. The risk is that maybe you might not be able to monitor items in the storage, given that the students are putting it there themselves. So what we would recommend would be to use some kind of a container scanner at the warehouse to actually check to make sure there's nothing dangerous in there or stuff like that. Next would be a possibility of theft. So the students might be able to steal stuff from another students. So the mitigation would be maybe to invest in some electronic locks and some security cameras. Though we've already mentioned we're going to be placing these storage containers at places with security surveillance, but additional security cameras might be placed inside the boxes, something to consider. Next would be lower registration than expected, so maybe you could do some form of social media marketing. And higher registration than expected, so users prepare to construct more boxes than normal. So instead of constructing the 40, you maybe construct 42, just in case there's extra demand. So the next part will be milestones. So as part of the implementation plan, what you want to do is you want to get the contract with the housing offices, collect at least 114 applications. So we've done some calculations, and this is the number that we have come up with. And lastly, you would like to safely return all the belongings. And this is a long-term scaling plan. So evaluating the business model, collecting feedback from the students, market research to select more schools for scaling, and as well as preparation for implementation and implementing in other areas. So this is some details for the long-term scaling plan. And so I'll talk about your financial projections. So it will cost about $17,000 to implement in UBCO, and with scaling it could cost about $15,000. We put a star there because it really depends on how many schools you have selected to actually scale with. And the boxes, I've already mentioned, they cost about $10,000 in total. And lastly, for additional revenue from the UBCO plan, what you will be getting is about $26,000. And from the scaling, you could get from $200,000 to about $730,000. And a break even would be 19 boxes. So this is 19 times 6 is 114 applicants that you need to actually sell to. And I would like to talk about the key performance indicators. So these are some key performance indicators to consider. Number of applicants, you need at least 114, the more the better. Customer reviews, you need to make sure that the customers who actually use it, they actually are satisfied with the service and leave good reviews, or maybe they have some concerns, some feedback, you can actually gather that, as well as financial growth, which is important for your company.
Yeah, so as students ourselves, this is definitely something that we want to see. Many of us have experience with this, and it would be lovely if you can if you would like to follow our plan and implement this. And yes, this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for your time, and now we're open to any questions.
I can start with a question. So I like the idea. So one issue with when you try to put a big steel box, like it's kind of in the name, it's not a beautiful piece of, it's functional utilitarian. But the university in Beta spent millions of dollars landscaping the area. So what's the issue of putting, how can you overcome putting 40 big steel boxes around the campus and Academy Hill?
So what we're trying to say is that because instead of putting 40 boxes, so we actually stagger it. So maybe in the first week of April, we put one box in U1, one box in U2, one box in U3. So it's not actually 40 at one location. So we've actually found some areas that we can actually put it. So for UBCO housing, this Commons View, this area, is one place we can put it. And as well as behind Class CR, there's actually a big space over there. We've actually looked into it as well. And for the other places, Upper Cascades, there's actually some area here as well that you could consider putting the boxes. So it's just one box every week, and then the next week you put a new box there. So it's not really a big area that you need. And as for the Academy Way, so we identified, so for example in Beta, because Beta is over on this side, so Beta, there's actually an area in the car park lot, you can actually put one storage container, and that would probably be enough for maybe maybe 2 buildings, and then you just move it to the other 2 buildings, there will be another storage container. And for U5, U6, there's actually U3, U5, there's this area around here. I'm not sure you can see it, but it's actually quite a lot of space for you to actually put the containers as well. So yeah. Does that answer your question? Yes.
I have a question. Do you foresee sort of the students needing access to the belongings? And if they do you have sort of a solution to that?
Yes, that is one, we were thinking of including this risk mitigation, but since it's a minor problem, as soon as university students, we are expecting university students to be responsible for their decisions, you know. It's sort of like going away for home and forgetting to pack along your stuff. We were thinking of charging them per visit, so $10 would be the amount that we're considering for the first visit, but we're going to stagger it, so 20 on the next, and let's say maybe 40 or 50 on the third, because it's a hassle for the students and us to be able to access the storage once it's closed. So that's an inconvenience for us, and we're definitely trying to eliminate this from the students. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm good for now. If anybody else has questions.
I just want to take it back to the number of 350. You talked about 350 students. How did you kind of come up with that number?
Yes, I can answer that question. So all the information are available through the website, and we estimated that so individual building, how many students are living there, and we, as we mentioned in the presentation, we consider 70% of those who are living on campus will either consider leaving or moving for the vacation and needing this stress. And because like some of them will ask their friends, or some of them decide to use other your competitors, and we think that 10% of those number will be a really conservative estimate to identify how many students will actually decide really need to use the storage room. So here's
Don't go away from this.
yes.
So, first year students have to get out of residence. 2,500 students. Most of the first year students are probably really homesick, probably heading home. And from what I've observed working with the first year international students, all of them hunt for storage. I think you may be underestimating this. How do you respond to that?
Well, this is, to be honest, frankly speaking, this is a worst possible scenario that we're going to think of. Definitely, we want to estimate a huge number of students using our service, but we don't want to overestimate it because in your company to overspend on constructing the the compartments within the storage. But if you decide to choose that solution, which we highly recommend that you do, the next step is definitely to dive into more market research, find out exactly how many students are actually in need of the boxes. As Eric mentioned, first years they're pretty experienced with life in general. So
I have a follow-up question if nobody has. Why 149, why not 199.95 per month?
We consider that the price is like one of the largest incentive for students. Even though the reason why is the student will go to cheaper competitor, based on our analysis is that student, even though they have to sacrifice the quality of the service, some students have no option. They cannot afford to pay extra to get high quality service and get access. So we believe that by charging 149, that means that if students consider using 4 months of the service, every month will be around like $35 to $40 for the student, which is significantly lower than what's currently available for the student. So that's why we really wanted to lower the price for individual student. And even though you're charging 149 for the students, because you have 6 students, meaning that you can make the revenue of approximately $900 from the box, which is for 4 months, which is higher than what you are currently making out of one box as well.
And how come we don't split it up into 8? Because like the students that come here, they come from their parents' van drove them there, they got off a plane or something. They're carrying like suitcases. It's not like you need a massive, like 1/6 of the thing. Would it be possible, like have you looked into smaller storage options, or have you considered giving different options, like different activity levels?
I can help answer that question. So because when students come, they might just have baggage, but over the semester they might need a mini fridge, they might get some additional things to add convenience to their rooms. So over the summer, by the time they have collected more items in the room, when they have to move out, they might need more than a small, like 1/8 of the container to be able to store all the extra appliances they bought over the semester.
Okay. And also, like, I was a little bit confused how like the third alternative is more expensive than the second one. Because the third one like seems like there's less walls that need to be built. Because like in the second alternative, you have like a walk down way through the middle, which seems like more construction pieces.
Oh, so actually to answer your question, I'm just gonna go back to the slide. Right? So the answer to your question, actually the reason why this is more expensive is because these doors here, they're made of steel, and each door actually costs about like $150 just to purchase. And if you want to consider installing, you need to consider the number of hours needed for each person to actually install it, as compared to this, which is currently modifying what you already have. So you already have these big steel boxes. You're just going to be installing some kind of partitions inside it, as well as some form of a lock there. So in this case, because you don't have to construct it from scratch, you just need to modify what you already have. It's going to be cheaper as an initial cost. And if, let's say, the project, you realize that, you might want to refurbish these boxes again for use as normal commercial use, you can easily just take away all of these things and it becomes reverse back to normal again.
Have you thought about what type of lock system you would use? Would it be a key? Would it be, I don't know what it currently is, but key or key code, or for that access if people do want to, and how would they pay that $10 when they're looking to access that?
Do you want to share something? We definitely took that in consideration. It's actually on our risk mitigation, which is in appendix. Just give us 1 minute. Yes, so risk possibility of theft, or just in general the insecurity of the lockers, of the storage lockers. Yeah, we were thinking of electronic locks would be a viable option. We have thought of mechanical ones, but password sharing is really it's a common practice for a lot of students, and we would say it's quite practical if someone were to really want to steal something out of one storage. And so electronic locks are sort of safe. It's not 100% safe, but we were also thinking of having those. Each of your container boxes inside the range of at least one CCTV camera, so that monitors whoever is going in and out of the box or just even passing by. Yes, we were thinking of using your current system that you that you have for if you have any potential locks that you're currently using. If not, we highly recommend you to invest in electronic locks.
Now, I have a quick question. How do you have you guys thought of potentially students sharing the locks or the spaces, and how to prevent that? Because if 4 or 5 of them sort of just all share it, then it's sort of we're losing revenue because it's just the one store as opposed to 4 or 5 of them.
I definitely say that sharing is an option for the students. We're not that strict on space, but the space designs as seen in the graph, we have carefully analyzed it, and we have put the we've thought of the potential luggage that one student that might have for each compartment. It is frankly it is kind of big for one student storing their own stuff, but you never know what university students might have. We just want to ensure that students are able to have all the space they need for the maximum amount of luggage that they might have. But student sharing is, first of all, it's really difficult to track whether they're sharing or not. Second, if we decide to restrict students on, some non-sharing policies, I think that would rather ruin your reputation as a company, because your solution here is to provide the community with a really convenient solution.